to freelancers. Might as well also apply to people who are physically employed to a particular office. The reason why I'm saying freelancers is because you get to work with clients. And then when you talk the very first time, they give you a scope of the project. And then 3 days later, they're like, Amma, we can add this. And then they're like, Amma, we can... And then they don't
adjust the budget.
Exactly. They don't adjust the budget. They don't adjust the timelines. So you end up with something that you didn't even discuss in the very first place. And it becomes really frustrating. Because sometimes you can't deliver on time and it might look like it is your fault, but it isn't your fault. And then you're underpaid and...
Hey, please don't
say it.
I saw you. Yes,
let it go there.
Underpaid.
Let's say
underpaid.
Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast. We are Global Tech Sellers. If this is the very first time that you're visiting our channel or maybe hearing us from Spotify or wherever, welcome very much. So today, before I get there, my name is Rhonajoy. I am a quarter of this podcast, and let me get to our guests to introduce the ladies, the beautiful ladies.
Okay, so I'm a guest. So do you guys know that my name means a guest? Yeah, my name is Kilonzi. I am a quarter of Global Tech Sellers and happy to be here today.
Awesome, beautiful.
Okay, my name is Mwikali. I don't know why you guys like saying a quarter, but
because we are quarter.
I get it, but it sounds cringe sometimes to me. I don't know why.
For you, everything for you is cringe.
At you, okay. For me, everything.
For you.
I'm Mwikali. I am fun. Yeah.
Quarter is better, but continue.
The quarter.
The shade.
Hi everyone. I am amazing, but most people call me Diana.
All right. Good to hear from you guys. Before we get into our topic for today, we'll start with a bit of a guys drum roll.
We understand it's where you came from.
Relax.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a bit of a tech trivia. Are you guys ready?
Ready?
Yes. We are ready, please.
We are ready.
Yes.
All right. So how it's gonna work? I'm gonna ask you a question, and then, of course, the very first person to answer.
So it's based on who.
It's a competition.
First.
It's a competition.
We are making it a competition. It must be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are
so
there
if you
presents?
don't worry, I'll sort you.
Okay.
You can get us
Proper
drinks
thanks.
after this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Tamara, what should I do?
Shauri yako aki.
Okay.
You're not inclusive.
Wow.
We are not inclusive.
Diversity and inclusion is lacking in this podcast. Continue.
All right. So we are ready.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask a question, and then whoever answers first, of course, gets a point.
Okay.
All right. So the first question says, what programming language is named after a type of Indonesian coffee?
Java.
One point.
Continue, please continue.
All right. Mwikali 1. Number 2. This one says, what is the name for a computer virus which replicates itself and uses up all the computing processing space? It's a computer virus which replicates itself.
Malware.
I know. I know it.
Come on, guys.
You came here to show that we are.
I know it.
Should I give you an hint?
Clue.
Yes.
Give me a clue.
Think of something on the
Time.
ground. Kind of
They're
a
warm.
creature.
Something warm.
You got it.
It's a
1
worm.
point for Faith. It's a worm.
Interesting.
Got it?
Yes.
All right. The other question.
Don't worry.
What app has a green owl as a mascot?
Duolingo.
Got it.
Let's
2
go.
points for Mwikali. All right, let's move on to the other one. What software development hosting company has an octocat for the logo?
GitHub.
Got it.
Let's go. You people are slow.
We are going to do 2 more, yeah?
Okay.
2 more. It says, which American company started with its founder's idea to rent out an air mattress in the sun?
Airbnb.
Who said it first? Let's give it to Diana. All right.
I was wondering.
All right.
Bora tumepata moto.
The last. Often pronounced GUI. GUI is a short
Graphical user interface.
Got it.
The question was not over.
We already knew it.
Not over.
So who won? Mwikali. But everyone
I'll see you for the presents.
meet me up behind
Hapo nyuma.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the tech trivia. As we are doing this, try to ask yourselves, would you have gotten these questions? So let's get into our.
Guys, I am a stammerer.
No excuses. No excuses.
I've not had lunch.
Winners don't have excuses. Let's continue.
Wow.
Anyway,
Continue.
so our topic for today is we are trying to deep dive into, we love software engineering for sure, we love tech, but sometimes it can be a headache, right?
Correct.
Because of some things. And so our title, or rather our podcast, our title for today is I love software engineering until, yeah. So I'm gonna start with who wants to start? You just you have to start with
Can
that.
you give credit to where the idea came from?
Oh.
Hey.
So the idea came from
If
none
it was
other.
posted somewhere, you would have said, we saw this posted on. Yeah, you saw it posted.
Okay, Sawa. We saw this posted on Faith's timeline on Instagram, and so we decided to adopt that idea. But as you may know, there are so many ideas we come up with here. We
Of
just
course.
don't shout it, guys, every time. But it's okay.
Humility.
Yeah, I was told that humility does not necessarily mean that it means does not mean that you shouldn't give credit. So you can be humble and still give credit and want to take credit because we are building this thing, right?
All right.
Okay, the reason why I wanted it is because actually, when I made that post in 2021, I was very frustrated. I used to work somewhere and I was making a reflection of how things had been moving, and true to my words. Yes, for me, some of the points, it's because that time it was kind of, I was like, I love this job. I love software engineering. I love the fact that I can build something until I'll just start. Until legacy code. Because legacy code is when you find outdated technologies being used in a company. For example, in this particular company we were using, I found some of the systems that were built using VB.NET. And if you know Visual Basic and those Windows forms and all that, sometimes it can be a headache. Yeah, I'm a .NET developer end to end for sure. But for this specific one, I'd not interacted with Visual Basics.
Yeah.
I'd never interacted with VB. And it was so difficult trying to debug something. The system is already live, it's being used. It's being used for years. And it was difficult to maneuver that legacy code, try to debug it and solve an issue that the company needs. Maybe there's a transaction that's not going through.
Yeah.
And you need me to debug this legacy code. So please, I love software engineering until legacy code. So please.
And I think with what happens with these legacy languages is they don't have a lot of support. So it's
Exactly.
very hard for you to go online.
There's no
find something.
documentation.
There's no documentation, so you don't even know where to. You
The
have to look
packages
for
are
those senior
outdated.
engineers there.
Yeah, I actually had to reach out to an engineer that had left the company years ago, which is
To help
difficult.
you.
Yes, to help me with debugging the legacy code.
Oh my goodness. All right,
Very sorry.
legacy code. Let's move on to weeks. Or do we have any person who has?
No.
Okay.
Personally, no.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'd say I love software engineering until the issue of scope creep comes in.
Mm-hmm.
I think this basically mostly applies to freelancers. Might as well also apply to people who are physically employed to a particular office. Reason why I'm saying freelancers is because you get to work with clients, and then when you talk the very first time, they give you a scope of the project, and then 3 days later they're like, Amma, we can add this, and then they're like, Amma, we can. And then they don't
Adjust the budget.
exactly, they don't adjust the budget, they don't adjust the timelines, so you end up with something that you didn't even discuss in the very first place.
Yeah.
And it becomes really frustrating
Yeah.
because sometimes you can't deliver on time, and it might look like it is your fault, but it isn't your fault, and then you're underpaid. And
Hey, please don't.
Don't say.
I saw
I'm so sorry.
Yes,
Let it
overworked
there.
and underpaid.
Let's
Overworked
say-
and underpaid.
but yeah, we can leave it at that.
Yes.
So you
But I
like
agree with you. Hey, God, the scope creep, freelancing or not, it can actually just mess you up because usually there's a specific, the timeline is not even adjusted. You know, sometimes it's just based on, the client thinks you've implemented something, then they think, so this is possible. Let's add
something else.
but
Yes.
But where
go ahead, D.
does agile methodology come in?
No, I
Because
believe
is how agile works.
I believe
There's
agile is
iteration.
building on top of whatever is currently existed. For instance, you break down your tasks in such a way that you're building up on them.
That's not agile. Okay, it is part of agile, but agile works in a way that I can come today and decide this doesn't work. We can change it to this. That is why
Iteration has nothing to do with you changing the, in as much as agile is a way of making sure that the user is included in the process, in the software development process, the initial requirement gatherings plays a greater deal into it because you've already decided we are building 4 modules into this application. If you add 5 modules and a 5th module, that's scope creep, my dear, from the very first beginning.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with now it's against agile. The scope creep is initially we agreed this is the scope of the work and this is the sprint. This is how the sprints have been divided into. So when you get to a point where you're adding extra work that was really
Probably
not-
there should be a contract
Yes.
for another. Now,
Yes.
okay.
Especially from
Maintenance.
freelancers.
But see, you can also iterate and add additional work.
It's
Why
a-
are you adding additional work? Is it been
Maybe from
budgeted
the
for?
user feedback or something
Yes.
that you had missed earlier.
I'm not saying that there's no room for adding that. My issue is usually a lot of in the scope creep aspect, it's usually something that is totally unrelated or bigger than what we had already discussed. There's nothing wrong with changing a button from red to black.
So the problem
Is
the
like
money
adding
that
more
we
work.
have or adding more work.
Adding more work
without
outside
the
of the
money.
initial requirements.
I actually
without-
And
The
even
money.
removing the money out of it, if I'm employed full time, for example, I work 8 to 5, I will still recognize scope creep if we realize that the initial discussion of this project planning, something was never mentioned from the get-go.
And then now later you're coming to say,
And it's
by
a whole
the
feature.
way.
It's a whole feature. It's not
for
a
me, my
ticket.
question was, can that be, what are the contracts there for?
what are?
The contracts, like initial contracts of, we are doing this and this and this and this and this. Most of the time,
It
if
should
we
be
stick
clearly
by that,
named.
then
We shouldn't be
we
having
shouldn't
scope
be
creep.
having that, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
What
Yeah.
if you work in a startup?
So startups don't have contracts.
I think no. I
They
think
have, but startup is a growing company. You can't decide today, this is the feature we are building, and stick to that 100%.
no. I agree with you, Diana, but now you have to have the initial thing, right?
Yes.
Whatever you discussed from the get-go, build it first and then get now feedback from whatever now you're building. Not changing it midway, in the middle of building, and you don't even have the, like, what can I call it? You don't even have, like, an output to show for it. You see? Like, you can have it first and then get feedback and then now continue improving and building on it.
So again, I think there is something else also we are missing in the whole thing. The whole definition of scope creep is any additional features that were not included in the initial plan, project planning. So in a startup setting, we're not saying that in a project setting it shouldn't change, right? We understand startups do a lot of pivoting and all. So the same way the process of software development in agile methodology, you plan everything, you backlog everything. Then after that, you divide everything in sprints and everything. If something has changed, we are not saying that something shouldn't change. You shouldn't just paste it in a current sprint because it has come up. It should be planned also. Just to make sure that we stay within the timeline, yes. We can pivot, yes. But it shouldn't affect the initial plan.
I honestly disagree with that because I think we are thinking from a point of corporate that has really spark kama Microsoft, Google, Moringa School,
Kenya Airways.
Like, hizo ni vitu zinakuanga very, okay. Those are companies that have very strict timelines to doing things because they have already developed their product. They know what the product looks like. So what is disturbing them, or what is more of their concern is this business really bringing in enough cash, or is this business going where it's supposed to go? But from
I agree. I've worked for a startup before. The difference is usually because the problem startups I see, if personally I've observed it from startups, is this: they don't have they cannot reconcile the management. There's what management want and there's what the product supposed to be. So if as a tech entrepreneur I've slept and I wake up and I realize we need to change to this one, you just can't come and tell me as a software engineer that it needs to change today overnight. If you're really an agile company, you are following the agile methodology, you should leave room for proper sprint planning, proper sprint reviews, proper retrospectives, like proper planning. Involve the engineers. It shouldn't be just because you are a startup and you can change. There should be structure. And I think that's what lacks mostly in startups.
In reality,
personally.
That's not the case. You build fast and break everything as you go.
Yeah, no wonder they are failing. No wonder.
But they are thriving ones.
Yes. And when you look at the ones that are thriving, there is proper structure. Personally, I think even as an engineer yourself, from an engineer's perspective, let me ask you today, even if you're working for a startup, and today you're working on something, then tomorrow we break everything and we build again, we burn out.
Yeah.
You will lose even the cycle.
And it's just, at the end of the day, it affects, I think it goes back to affecting the people who are working in the team. And just, I don't think it really is very efficient.
I understand. Diana is a co-founder, guys. Diana is a co-founder. So from a co-founder's perspective, I understand you. From hands-on engineer person, I don't.
We have really proper management system and engineering system that works for us. So please, that is not a problem.
Please, I need to consult on their engineers.
All right.
Consult with them.
Okay. Sawa. That, I think that has been discussed very comprehensively. Okay. Let's move. Over to you.
Just to add on to that. Okay. My point is building up on that. So we have the unpaid projects. So maybe we are working on a project.
So I love.
You love. Oh. No,
we are not cutting.
Continue.
I love software engineering, but we have something called unpaid projects. So you could work on something and they are not paid. And it could be, maybe you are trying to build your skills. That is one. maybe you are a startup.
You've given your
You're a
talent to
co-founder.
a startup, guys.
Maybe you are building something, you've not yet received the funds that you need. That's also a problem. Maybe you are doing internship in a company. People are being paid 300,000. Now you are here to
This is
learn.
an unpaid.
This is an unpaid internship.
Yeah.
There are 12 hours. It is all right because you're also building. I was reading a book that said that the only difference between you and the rich guys is the rich people are willing to work extra. Like they're willing to put in the effort more.
I thought poor people are more motivated.
No, poor people are not motivated.
They are. They work harder.
No,
So that you may get out of
think-
poverty.
I think it's
Okay, you can work harder but not smarter. So you are working.
Umeweka
I need
nguvu.
ugali and skuma every day. But huyu mse mwingine akona resources that he needs. So he's here for the skills to just move to the next level of
actually that's true.
the grade.
Because you realize that for someone who doesn't have to worry about rent, they can easily take up an unpaid
Ski.
internship.
Yeah.
Take an extra course, take a break and go to school.
can.
For you have to work and go to school.
All right. I think for that point, I'm thinking in the context of like, is that included in the part where you have agreed with someone and then anakuruka tu, like anasema, hey, by the way, I'm not paying you. Or rather, like there's a lot of back and forth when you're asking for your money. So how? All right, maybe it's not for this. I would have wanted to know how do we.
There's a mentee of mine recently. They reached out to me. Had even celebrated when they got the job, and he reached out and he said that they've not yet been paid since April. Now it's
I
August.
also know someone.
Yeah,
Since
and
January.
And they were promised to be paid.
yes,
yeah?
they signed the
A
contract. Like the company just
big.
went broke. Yeah, so for such a case, I told him that all that time they're investing now, just give your notice and tell them that you'll still be willing to get the money back. You're still waiting to be paid, but look for another opportunity because you really can't go month after month and you need to sustain yourself. Yeah. I've also worked somewhere else and we never got paid. It was an internship. I actually went back to school and got paid way later.
But you got paid eventually.
Way
yeah?
later, yes. I had
And
to
before
fight.
you had signed a contract.
Yes, I had
and
signed
they
a
are saying
contract.
they will pay you.
Companies do go broke. That's the reality of the matter. Some companies, they are startups and they need funding and they don't get the funding, so they can't sustain themselves. Other companies just face mismanagement and there is a problem with payment.
Yeah.
But either way, fight for your money.
So to think, now that you've signed a contract and in any case they refuse to pay you, you can actually go to court, right?
But do you have the
take
money?
legal action.
Money.
No. But the question is, let's not think about the money. You can
Get
actually
lawyer
go to
friends.
court.
Yeah,
get
you
lawyer
can
friends.
you
They
can
are
take,
free.
but really when you sit and when you
they
sit down,
give back
okay,
to
you
the
said
community.
let's remove the money part, but when you sit down and say maybe the amount of I'm supposed to be paid maybe 75,000, and then the cost of a lawyer is how much? Is it really worth
No,
it?
sometimes
Most of
no,
the time.
I'm thinking
And the
sometimes
time
it might
and the back
double
and
up.
forth.
No, sometimes
Sometimes
it might
it's
double
not
up
worth it.
because you might say they made me undergo emotional stress, physical
I took
trauma,
debt.
and then it is doubled, and then
You
it
took
is
a loan,
nini.
they pay with
Exactly.
interest.
Yeah.
It's true. Depends on your strategy. And
Okay,
your lawyer
well,
friends.
issue is lawyer. Then get lawyer friends because I know that costs.
Yeah, it's
But just to help people, I have faced that situation, guys, and I can tell you that the government has some office called the Ministry of Labor. So you can go
In
there.
Kenya,
and-
please.
In
This is
Kenya, in Kenya for Kenyans. You can go there and report your issue, and then the labor officer there will try to help. But I didn't get help, guys. But anyway, you can
you
try.
didn't get help.
Sorry.
No, I didn't
think
get help.
The main problem with unpaid project is the lack of motivation. You could have a team, an entire team, but if you're not paying them,
Hey, me, I received-
tomorrow they'll tell you I'm available. The next day I'm not available.
And you can't
I'm
hold them
sick.
accountable.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
now
Because you're not
paying them.
What was annoying me with my mentee's situation was he sent me even some voice recordings of their meetings, and the management was so unapologetic. Like, you've not paid people and you're still not showing up. Like, the CEO never showed up in the meeting that you were supposed to show up and explain the situation. Yeah, it was bad.
Anyway, that's another point. So for me, I would say I love software engineering until the bugs. Hey, guys. Have you ever slept for 2 days? As I said, 2 days.
I thought that's the fun part of software engineering.
Okay, it is fun
it's
finding
not
that bug, but sometimes it's very mentally exhausting. Actually, what happens is you sleep and you think of the bug.
You're dreaming of
And
bugs.
then you wake up, go try things. So, so
Actually, that's the whole thing is annoying. I know, personally, the reason why I stopped coding until it's time for bed, it's because every time I'm facing a bug and I don't solve it and I sleep, I'm half asleep, half solving it in my head.
yeah.
So now I have a night routine. I read myself to sleep. There is no way I'm going to.
And you put those 2 songs there. To
Yes.
YouTube soothing songs.
Please, rain sounds.
Rain sounds.
I have a whole rain sounds playlist. And
Everything okay at home.
guys,
Everything okay at home.
guys, subscribe so that I can get money for therapies. Subscribe to our podcast and share our podcast. Comment, it helps us. And follow. Guys, we need to keep our podcast running at this point. Yes. But yeah,
really,
debugging at night sometimes is annoying.
So yes, we are very happy we are learning during the debugging process. But
And the after
sometimes,
effects,
man,
the burnout comes
yeah, you
from
come out
it.
there feeling so tired. As much as it is very, how is it called?
It's fun
This
to
feeling
fish for something.
of knowing that you solved something is very validating.
Yes.
But
But
before
the process-
the process is
Daunting.
I'd say you should
Crazy,
trust the process. Or let the process know you're trusting.
I think I've
No, the
Any
process should
tips
trust
for
us.
debugging?
any tips for debugging.
Take a break.
Yeah.
For our work.
Yes.
As my
Karura.
manager
No.
would say, touch some grass.
Touch some grass. Yes.
Some grass.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
sometimes-
like, take a break. Like,
I
do
don't feel
some-
like it's as easy as you guys are saying it. Like, take a break.
The
Like,
break
and
doesn't
you're
have
there, like,
to-
feeling, oh gosh, I've not solved this.
No, you can take
3
a five.
days.
The break doesn't have to be the whole day. It's just a 5 minutes. Let me focus on something else. Like, if I'm working from home, I'll go and make coffee, or I
and then
go and
come
take
back.
a fruit and come
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
Kind of just like, don't focus on the same thing for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah. Ask
Sometimes-
for help also, guys. Ask for
Yes.
help.
Yeah, true. Ask
Yes.
If you're stuck there for a long time, you can reach out to someone, man.
Get another
Correct.
pair of eyes
Yeah.
to help you look for
But
that bug.
have you ever had with bugs again a situation where you're there facing a bug for 1 day and then you call someone, Mamambia, please come check my code, and then
Any day.
look at line number 5. That's not the issue. Hey,
Yes. It usually takes just an extra pair of eyes.
Yeah, you did an extra pair.
Yeah. Don't feel stupid when something like that happens. Give yourself grace. You tried.
It happens for everyone. Even the senior engineer is
well,
tough.
guys,
Yeah.
I've felt stupid a couple of times, but anyway, we move on.
We move.
All right.
For me, I love software engineering until technical debt. So technical debt is the cost the company pays, and even you, the engineer, pays to resolve issues that should not even have been issues, but because of timelines and bad code, you had to do what you had to do. For example, you're given a project, it's 2 weeks deadline, but this project should have taken 3 months. But so because of the strict timelines and something has to be fixed right now and right there, you just look for shortcuts, guys. You know,
Yeah.
you
just
do shortcuts.
Poof, poof.
It works.
As
As
long
long
as
as it works, we push to production. When you come back, when you come back and you need to optimize the thing, it becomes so difficult. So that's where the technical debt comes in, because there's so much code refactoring that you need to do. That really, if you took your time to build the system with best practices, that would not have been an issue. I have an example. There's a system currently we're building previously, and because of the way things went, there was the company cancelled. The system was being managed by a vendor previously. Then the company cancelled the vendor contract, and it was supposed to be built in-house. You know, with a cancelled contract, means the timeline is very constrained. So we had to quicken and build the thing faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other day there was a bug and they told me to resolve it. When I went back to that code, I could not. I could not know what was going on because it works, but now it has broken and I need to refactor. And it takes so much time, so many resources, so many people to refactor and optimize it when it shouldn't even have been an issue. And I think a lot of companies need to find ways of managing technical debt. I know a lot of engineers use shortcuts and sometimes it's beyond their control. Just have a plan that, yes, you push to production, but this is the plan of going back to the system to optimize it before the next update. Part of maintenance should be managing technical debt. And I was having a discussion. I was interviewing lately with another company, and they asked me that question of how have I been able to manage technical debt. And I was like, wow, I haven't managed. I'm lying.
Really, I doubt you said that. I really doubt you said that.
Yeah, of course I did say that, but yes.
I think for I think I can go because I feel like my point is very much related to what you've touched on. I love software engineering until spaghetti code, and basically spaghetti code is again code that is really not as efficient. Maybe probably has a lot of maybe repetition. You find like they're not even using classes. There's a lot of like so much that maybe that code could have been written better. But now
there was no time.
There was no time. People just wrote. It worked, but it wasn't the very best of way. And I think it now goes back to your point. It originates from here and then reflects. So
no, my point is the mother of your point.
Wow. Okay.
But just before we get to your point, the good thing is, or rather the good way of managing the spaghetti code is by making sure you're using practices to write clean code. Guys, go read a book. It's called Clean Code. It will help.
Have you read it?
I have. From start to back.
I also read it.
Read that.
Oh, we are readers.
Where? Guys, let's continue. We are not in a reading club, please.
We also read books. We are just not fed that.
Clean code is important, guys.
Right, on to the mother of all.
On to the mother of all. Anyway, I think all your issues stem from the fact that when some of these projects are being, let me say, created, they set unrealistic time expectations. So I love software engineering until unrealistic time constraints are placed on a project. So I think this normally happens when people are very optimistic about a product or people do not take into account the resources that are actually needed. So you know very well that a certain project needs certain resources, but then the resources aren't either fully available or they are limited, but still you end up placing those time expectations, expecting that people should deliver on the project. So kidogo it becomes an issue because people won't definitely deliver on that time. And then also when you're looking at the scope of the project, you're building a whole system, but looking at the timeline that you've been given, probably less than a month, of which it's not even realistic. Co-founder, don't bash me, but
it's breaking and rebuilding.
It's an issue that actually happens. But people are normally, I was about to say hangover, but that's not the word. People are normally burnt out. People are just tired. People are looking at their machines 24/7, which is not even healthy.
Spaghetti code.
And they make it work, but
and then when you go back to start refactoring it, when the program crashes or when the system crashes and you're going back to try
business
and fix
breaks.
Exactly. You're like offline for a week or something because you're trying to correct something you could have done better.
I think the other reason why they set unrealistic expectations, I think it's worked with a people pleaser as a project manager.
The person who says, yes!
We can do it.
We can do it!
I promise you.
We will deliver.
you're given 2 weeks and they're like, no, we can do it in a week.
So maybe they don't know the
It's not about they just want to please the
technical
stakeholder.
depth. Maybe they could be having a technical
No,
depth.
no, no,
They
no,
don't
no,
know how
No.
software engineering works.
No,
and
no,
how,
no, no.
It's
Yeah.
No, why are we
project
having-
managers can be like that.
Why are we
They-
having
me-
project managers who are not technical?
Me,
in the
I
first
but
place?
they
Exactly.
usually
A
work
very
like
big
that.
company
Most
that
of them are.
Yeah.
But as a project manager managing a
Because they
tech
only do the
project.
certifications.
Yeah, they just do
Wanachukuliwa huko.
Hey,
Exactly. So the company, you need to look at your hiring.
get
hiring processes.
Especially with that, my problem with a manager that is so much like you are not taking care of your engineers.
Your people,
you are more
just
concerned about pleasing the product owner or the person, the client. So you end up over promising
And under
without resources. Then
First,
we
you
end
end
up
up
under
over
delivering.
promising and
At
burning
the
out
cost
your
of-
engineers. Yes, you overwork them.
Okay.
We are here,
Take note, Diana.
guys.
Hurry up.
Last point.
Now to the father of
Hey, we need mother. Okay, children. Okay,
Who is
sir.
the father of it?
to the father of y'all. You need a team, a very responsive team to first adhere
Work.
to the realistic timeline that you set to ensure that you don't have technical debt. Because again, if you have an unresponsive team, some people will not respond to emails, they will not create PRs, or they will take time to approve PRs.
Yeah, man.
They will write spaghetti code because now may I have to come in to write your code because you didn't respond early. You know, the father.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need a very responsive team to ensure that they work. And most software engineering projects are interconnected.
Yeah.
So you have to have people that actually
On
respond.
the project.
Yeah, like
work
they feel
together.
it.
Yeah.
They own the. So you love
I love software engineering because
Until
until you have a responsive team members
Mates.
in a project.
yeah.
Yep. And I also hope you noted when, I'm not sure if you have seen, but on TikTok or Instagram, we have a video of your coworkers. I hope you had this one talking about hangover, and you now know we were not wrong on that.
Please.
Guys, they are totally unrelated. Totally unrelated.
Shit.
I was wondering
Where is it going? Where is it going?
What's
It's a
happening?
side to end the episode.
Hey, let's end there.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I hope that you have maybe learned or maybe related with whatever we were saying. And yeah, I think that's where can they find us?
At
Global
GTech
Tech
Sellers
Everywhere.
across all social media platforms. Please follow us. The links are here.
Yeah.
And buy our merchandise. Today we are not wearing, but
Very
we
soon
have a lot
we'll
of
come
good
back
things
with
there.
the merchandise.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching us. Until the next time.
Bye-bye.